Good morning, dreamers. We're back with another episode of Talks with Cal. That is me, Cal. So, today we're talking about something that I mentioned the other day, and that's what do we do after we reset? So, first of all, you're going to want to play the blame game. Don't do this. Because when you're pointing one finger, you've got three pointing back at you. It's stupid and sounds silly. Yes, our parents probably said it when we were growing up, but that doesn't matter because it's true. You can't play the blame game and not blame yourself for the most, right? But don't play the blame game. You just need to accept what it is and start from there, right? So, don't blame yourself. Don't blame others. Just accept what it is and move on, right? Because you're here to motivate yourself to get where you need to be, right? So, for me, the reset is that I have an ultimate goal. And that ultimate goal is that I want to own my own business, but I can't do it while I'm paying all these other bills and rent and electricity and internet and all these things that cost a fortune. I think the total was like $1,200 after all that, and that's crazy, right? But you can't blame yourself for that. So you have to find your ultimate goal. That's the most important thing. Is what is your goal after you reset? Why did you reset? Yes, you'll have to get a job in the meantime to make the money to do so, to get the capital you need to start the business, but that's part of it, right? It's to being able to reset yourself and understand that there has to be a purpose for everything. And what is your purpose? That's number one, is what is your purpose in doing so? The second thing is you can't blame yourself for everything that happened, right? So yes, you did make mistakes. Yes, you did have problems. Yes, you did all this. You can't blame other people either because, they weren't the ones who made the choices to do this, right? Now, next is what do I need to change? Maybe there was something that happened. Maybe it's hygiene. Maybe it's your eating habits. Maybe it's how much sleep you get at night. Whatever that habit is that needs to change, you need to motivate yourself to change that habit. And in doing so, if you have to go to bed at 10:30 to get up at 6, or to go to bed at 9:30 to get up at 6 or 5 or whatever it may be, do so, because your ultimate goal is the most important thing to you right now after the reset, right? I hope so. Next, we need to talk about the lack of information. And that's a huge one in this generation because we're all looking for someone or something or a group of people to grasp onto that, inspire us or give us motivation, or that we have to be a part of. And we feel like we always have to have a say in that conversation. But here's the thing. The lack of information is the cause for us to get frustrated in those conversations because we may not have the information that these other people do. And that's totally fine because you don't always have to be the speaker. You can be the listener, right? We can all agree that the lack of information is very key in this, right? So if you're trying to start your own business, or you're trying to get to where you want to be, or you're trying to become an athlete, or whatever it may be, you have to have that knowledge of doing so, right? But don't get frustrated that you don't. It will happen, Don't get frustrated that you get frustrated. Sounds crazy, but that's what we do, because once we start getting frustrated, then we go down that track of the blame game, then we go down the track of this person did this, and then it just doesn't turn out good. So you have to stay motivated. And you say, Cal, that's easier said than done. Yes, I agree, but this is life. If this was easy, everybody would be doing it, and we wouldn't have what we have. You know what I mean? There wouldn't be people telling themselves that they can't live this life anymore. You wouldn't have people giving up and living on the streets, or you wouldn't have all these things happening if everyone was motivated to do the things that they wanted. They wouldn't be giving up. They wouldn't be getting into these bad habits and so on and so forth. But that's where the strong people come into play. That's you, the dreamers. We're here to set a new standard for ourselves, and that standard is that we don't want to be the lack of information. We want to be a wealth of information and gain the knowledge and access the things that we need to access to get to the level that we want to. And yes, you may have to go through some of the monotonous things of life, such as, everyday 5 to 9 job, but that 5 to 9 job is also an experience, and that experience teaches you things. When bad things happen, that's an experience, that's knowledge. Okay, it's called the School of Hard Knocks. And the wise people that understand the School of Hard Knocks understand that it's a never ending process. You're always going to continually go through it. That's why the School of Hard Knocks, in my best opinion, is more educational than, you know, going to college for 8 years. Because, yes, you're getting the knowledge that you need based on information, which is a great thing, but experience says that you need experience. To get a job, you need 2 years experience, 3 years experience, but you're not going to get that by sitting there for 6 to 8 years doing this. It is great to have that degree, and I'm not saying don't go to college. If you feel like that's something for you, do that. If that's part of your plan and your purpose, do that. But if not, remember that there is a School of Hard Knocks, and that's called life. And like I said, those that understand that you have to continually go through it. And the fools think that you graduate from the School of Hard Knocks at some point and you start getting your way, but it doesn't work that way. Until you start running your business and you start having people underneath you, and that you can, take that long lunch break, or that you can do these things, it's continuous. Even then, it's continuous. What if you go and take that long lunch break and then something happens and then you have to go back and you're the one with the wealth of information to fix that situation? It is what it is, but it's okay, because that's the fun of it. That's why we want to do the things that we want to do, because we want to be that most important person in the situation. And that's completely fine, because at this point, we're all searching for that one thing that we can grasp onto, that inspires us, that motivates us, that brings us to the next level that we're not doing right now. And that's part of it is, we go to these jobs and we have a lack of motivation because it's the same thing every day. And you may not be hearing positive things all the time. It may be negative, and that's completely fine. But like I say, take it as a grain of salt, dreamer, because that's going to continue to happen. And that's where you're strong, is because you're a dreamer and that you see the ultimate purpose. Yes, you may get negativity from another person, but it's because they're just as frustrated as you are. But if you're setting the standard, the example for that person, and you are gaining that information from this person, then maybe that situation happens and you have the knowledge to fix it. And then you step up, right? So that's what is important. The lack of knowledge is what is killing a generation, because we all feel the need to necessarily bring ourselves into a group of people, all these things. And yes, I'm repeating myself, but it's important that we motivate ourselves to understand this, because if we don't motivate ourselves to understand this, then nobody will. Because the School of Hard Knocks, like I said, is the most important school we can go through. Yes, you can get your degree. Yes, you can do all these things. Yes, it does matter that you do this, right? But at the same time, how much does it matter if what you're doing is the same thing over and over and you're going nowhere and you're getting frustrated? Been there. I'm sure you have too. I'm sure you will go through it, but it's okay, because that's part of the information that we need. And that's what this really boils down to, is experience. And we can't get frustrated when a bad experience happens, because that's knowledge. Now, if that bad experience happens and then it happens again and again and again and again, then that truly makes you a fool for going through those things over and over. But some of us might be more knowledgeably gifted when we go into that, and that's not necessarily a good thing, because that can lead you into being a fool, because you're like, well, I've done this before and I didn't really have to try. Well, what if that was years ago and you had some information then that you don't have now, that it made it so much easier then, right? Learning English, math, all these things back then. You try and do it now, you may not be as good because you don't use it every day. And back then you used it every day, so you had the information. Well, that's part of it. You have to continuously motivate yourself and bring knowledge to yourself, and always look for information. Sit down and read for 30 minutes a day. You know what I mean? I'm actually reading a book right now that I found in my parents' library called The School of Hard Knocks, and which is where part of this information is coming from. I suggest you read it if you can find it, because it's a great book. I'm reading it right now. It teaches you more about life than even some people can give you that have been through experiences, because not everyone knows how to express those except through experiences. And that's, like I say, the most important thing is experience. So, like we say, we need to not point fingers at people. and say that, it's their fault. Yes, there may have been something that they did that caused us to do this, but we ultimately made the decision. Second thing is changing our habits, our hygiene, our eating habits, our whatever it may be. You know what I mean? These things happen and we lose focus on those things, but it's okay. You gain that, and we're young. We're young and we still have a lot to go ahead of us. And if we look at it that way, then yes, we are going to go through those experiences, but we have more time than an older generation. You know what I mean? Because they're living out what we want to do now. Their dreams are being happening now. And if it's not, that's okay. And they're happy with what they're doing, that's fine too. You know what I mean? If they're continually motivated to go to work and if they've been doing it for 20 years, you know what I mean? Somewhere along the way, they found the motivation to continue to do it regardless. Maybe it was for you. Maybe it was for your sister. Maybe it was for your brothers or whatever it may be when they had a kid. Who knows what it may be? But somewhere along the way, you have to find the motivation. And you can't get up every morning and say, oh, I don't want to do this. You have to get up because the 20 seconds of you waking up in the morning are the most important. That's when you have to tell yourself, all right, let's do this. Go look in the mirror. I've said it before. Go look in the mirror and tell yourself, we're about to do this. We're about to hit this hard. We're about to go harder than everyone else. And if you don't, that's fine, right? Don't get frustrated. Maybe there's somebody who has information over you. Again, it's all about information and experience. So gaining that knowledge is part of it. And that's what we keep saying. And third is inspiring yourself and motivating yourself to go do those things that you want to do, because no one else can do it for you. And if you have to go do that 9-to-5 job to get the money, to get the capital to start your own business, like I want to do as well, and I hope you do too, to want to go start that business, that's completely fine. Go do it. Go be the one that starts that business. If you're tired like me of working for people, then go do it. It doesn't mean I'm not going to work for people, because I know that's part of my plan, part of my purpose to get where I want to be. But you have to have that ultimate goal when you set down and you reset, because there has to be a goal for you to reach, or you're just going to continuously do the same things over and over and over. And that is the definition of insanity. And that's not what we're going for. We're going for inspiration. We're going for inspiring, desiring, setting fire to our own life. Because if we do that, then what if there's somebody behind us saying, oh, well, I want to start my own business too. And all while they're watching you run this business, and they're like, well, if Cal can do it, then maybe I can do it. Or if Jesse can do it, then maybe I can do it. Or if Jamie can do it, maybe I can do it. It doesn't matter. If whatever can do it, we can do this together. We're in this together. We're a generation of dreamers. And so I say to you, go out there, inspire, desire, and set fire to your own life. Because who knows, you might set fire to someone else's life, and that's what matters in all this, is that we're motivating each other. So I want you to go out there, have a great day. Have an awesome day. Enjoy the sunshine. If it's not, go out there, enjoy the cold. Go out there, enjoy your day. Have a conversation with your parents. Have a conversation with your grandparents. Whoever, get some information today. Read a book. I inspire you to read a book for 30 minutes a day, even longer. The best CEOs in the world are reading, 3 to 4 books a week. That's crazy, but that's where they get there, is that they have motivated themselves to get the information. So have a good day. Enjoy yourself, and let's do this, people.